Good morning, afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclo. It's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic, and I finally decided it's time to start working on South London Network. I went to London to Brighton a long time ago, and I've been talking about wanting to come back to this route. Not only because it connects to the South London to Brighton route, which is a route I really want to check out in terms of scenarios, some nice, good, long scenarios there we can play there, but also because of a train on the route, this particular one right here, the class 456, which is included with the route. Of course, there's South London to Brighton down below with some scenarios on that as well. That again, this is a free route. Nothing here is payware on this particular route. But yeah, these are all therefore free scenarios. There's no payware packs, I don't think, for that route. They're all freeware. So we're going to have a lot of options to pick from for that route when we get down there, including the basic 377. There's a class 33 hanging out here. Class 350. There's some 421 there, which we haven't introduced yet. There's some more 375s, which we have seen. So all sorts of, the 387, the Thameslink, which that's apparently a model that, I think that is the Super Al's model, because I noticed that's not highlighted. Granted, I haven't installed the Armstrong model yet either, so it could be that as well. I just don't know yet. But in any case, let's go back up to South London Network, because that's where we are today. You can see there's a number of other trains here as well. So the 375 comes with the route. The 378 comes with the route. No, it doesn't. No, 378 does not come with the route, but it does have scenarios for the route. That comes with the Goblin Lines route, which is nearby. It also connects to Clapham Junction to some extent. East London Line goes up there. And I believe that's what it's called. In any case, the 415 is another separate train. This is an Armstrong Powerhouse train, by the way. This one I can confirm is an Armstrong Powerhouse train. So these are actually the versions of the scenarios that come on Steam. They're not the ones that come on the site. They're the same scenario, just they're the actual low DLC makeup of the scenario, so to speak. Here's the 455-8, which I do want to look at on this route as well, since the scenarios are here. This is again is an upgraded version of the train from the original Portsmouth Direct Line DLC, standalone DLC. And in fact, the 455-8 even comes with the newer version of the route in question. But the 456 is one we have to look at today. Of course, the 419 is down here as well. The 4 Big, I believe they call that. But we're starting with the 456. The first scenario listed in the manual is Inner Southern Service. You can see the times of the scenarios are 30, 50, 35, 40 minutes. We'll save the tour of the train for the next time out, partly because I'm still not feeling well recovering from COVID, and also partly because I just don't feel like doing the tour today. So we're going to do the tour on a future scenario. I will try and get that in there for you. So for right now, let's get busy on the Inner Southern Service and learn what we're doing in here today, shall we? I just got an achievement for loading a scenario, guys. Yay! I'm now a 456 driver, apparently. Good morning, driver. Today you'll be running the 841 Inner South London Line service to London Bridge, calling at all stations. No delays are expected. Please pick up passengers at London Victoria. Okay, so I knew this station looked familiar. We have been here before. This is London Victoria. Passenger pickup shall commence. Headlights shall go on. And let's bring this up and see what we have. Ooh. We do have the alert there. There's a train heading off. That looks like it is the... There it is. SNVC05 southbound 1. That's the train that's leaving over there. There's also another train over there you saw, southbound 2. Just hanging out over here as well. So these... that's not what I want to do. So there's that southbound 2 just right there. That's the southbound 2 you can see right next to us on the right. So there we go. So I believe... This is a very, very far... Holy cow, what on earth? Okay, we're not going to do that. That doesn't make any sense. Let's make sure we have the proper... Yeah, that's a far view. This is the view I want. Okay, let's just figure out what we're doing here. We're going to get ourselves going. So, leaving London Victoria. Here we go. Our next stop is going to be Battersea Park, or our first stop, rather. Will be Battersea Park. Looks like we have a yellow signal up ahead, so I'm going to just watch myself here. Plus our speed limit is 20. So you can see straight ahead there is that yellow. There's another train over there on the side as well. That is one of the Chatham mainline services, I believe. And it's running late. It's Victoria to Seven Oaks. So that is my yellow going to line E. We have to assume the next signal is red, and indeed it does look... Oh boy, look at this. It's busy here today. There's southbound 2 now on the way out, so we have to treat this signal as a red because it's most... Oh, that's not... That's not our green, is it? Ooh, who's that in the distance? SNVC1. Okay, whoever that is. Is that my green signal? Oh, I have a red. I definitively have a red. So we're going to go ahead and stop here. There's the yellow. I noticed I had not stopped completely. I just went to a slow speed to try to maintain control here. So I believe that service is one of the Brighton mainline services, a regular Brighton mainline service. You can see the sign out the window over there as well. Wrong window. There you go. So those signs are different than we had previously on the London to Brighton route. They have evolved. Once again, I'm not going to go full speed. There's another train waiting there. I'm not going to go full speed because I am under caution. Apparently I just got the uphill battle achievement. I have no idea what that is. There's my alert warning me about the red up ahead. There's a yellow. So we're going to take a quick look at the itinerary now that I know I have a yellow signal and I can proceed. You can see that we have a lot of stops here. We have 9 or 8 more stops besides just our first one at London Victoria. I think you might be hearing sirens on the game there. I'm actually hearing that too. I thought it might be outside for a second, but no, it is in the game. There's another train idling up there. That's a stopper to Victoria you can see coming to my immediate right. You can see that we have a yellow signal up ahead, so I'm going to go ahead and continue on. I am hoping that turns green. It just turned green. As we hit the alerter on the yellow, it just turned green. So we're going to go ahead and get ourselves up to a little bit of a faster speed now. We have to be at Battersea Park, Platform 1 in 1 minute. Okay. This is going to be good, guys. This is going to be good. We also have a 20 coming up immediately, so we have to slow down right away. This is promising. Suppose I'm a little early on the brakes there. Well, they're going to have to deal with it. Let's see if we are on time here. I should be still on time, but who knows at this point, the way this game does stop sometimes. I didn't want full service, but we'll take it. It's only 3 steps. Let's keep that in mind. Doors are open at Battersea Park, platform number 1. Leaving Battersea Park, our next stop is Wandsworth Road. You may remember from previous scenarios Wandsworth Common. That's on the regular Brighton mainline route. If we go back and look at the full map, you can see that route all the way along here still exists, coming down here, down to South Croydon. That's where it's cut off heading towards Brighton. So we're going to be taking the inner path. We're not taking that outer route today, we're taking the inner path. We're also going to watch this downhill gradient that's coming up here. That looks like a very, very steep hill, and that in fact got me on a first playing. I wasn't ready for that on a first playing, so I had to hit the brakes and didn't get down to the 30 in time, even though I was trying to maintain the 30. So we're going to hit that downhill gradient in just a moment. I'm slightly under the limit to give me the leeway. Sure enough, we're going to need that leeway because that's a 1 in 44 gradient. That is heavy. So we're going to make sure we stay under the 30. Now we're going to start slowing down for the stop anyway. We're still on that 1 in 44 gradient. We should be on time. 8:48 is our stop time. We have a half minute. And we're practically pulling in the station right now. We only have 2 cars, so we can actually plan our stop very nicely around that. I moved up to a step 1 because I have the room to keep going. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and inch forward just a little bit here. Now I'll go ahead and I'll stop. Just use as much of the time as I can. So that is our arrival at Wandsworth Road, platform number 2. There's the Dartford to London Victoria service. After that bit of a camera fail, you may have noticed a train going by just out of the frame there in the screenshot there. That was a bit of an oopsie on not knowing where that train was going. So leaving Wandsworth Road, our immediate next stop is Clapham High Street. We have to be there in about a half minute. We have no additional weird speed limits on the way, so we can basically go at whatever speed we want to go as long as we come to a stop in time. And this stop looks like it's going to be a little bit tighter, a little bit leggier too, as I had a little moment of leg there. So now we need to get ready to make our stop. I don't think we're really going to have a lot of chance to get up to 45 on this journey, except possibly near London Bridge. Heading in London Bridge, if we still have that limit, we might pull it off there. There's another train hanging out over there. That's the London Bridge to London Victoria service, going the opposite direction of ours. And I should have kept going just a little bit further here before I hit those brakes. So I'm going to go ahead and keep those... keep that applied for a little bit until we get a little closer to the platform. Hopefully we're okay for time. This is good enough. So we have a green signal at the end. We're going to open the doors at Clapham High Street. Leaving Clapham High Street, our next stop is Denmark Hill. We're leaving at a speed limit of 45 miles per hour under a green signal, so no problems at this point. This is a little bit of a longer stretch, it looks like. We have until about 8:55 to make this stop. So we are going to try and take advantage of what speed limits we can. There is a 30 coming up, a little bit of leg again there, something loaded. So a little bit of chance to go a little faster here, and we are going to have to limit ourselves to 30 up ahead as well. So we may not really get a chance to go all the way up to 45. I don't even know if I want to try and go above 30 at this point, to be honest with you. We only have 1 3/4 miles to go to reach our destination here. I am going to stop at 30 because at this point 3 minutes from now would get us close to Denmark Hill, and we're going to have another stretch where we can go 45 anyway. In fact, I might regret that decision only because 8:55 is indeed our stop time. You can see that that is when we have to stop. We are on a 1 in 95 uphill gradient, which is working against my power right now. But it is helping from the aspect of being able to stay at 30. As the downhill now shallows a little, I have to move back to a level 1 to not break the speed limit. Excuse me. There might be a little bit of a cough here and there. I do apologize. I am still on the back end trying to recover from having had COVID. This is why I stopped activity on my channel, because I just was not in any condition to record anything. My plan was to record content the day I got home, but then when I had those bad couple of nights on the way through the rest of my playlist that I had already uploaded by the time I left, I got to what would have been my Tuesday upload, and I said, you know what, I don't feel like recording anything else right now. I'm going to hold on to that Tuesday upload, and that's why I waited a week to bring that one out. Don't speed. That's why I waited a week to bring that one out, because I wanted to make sure I could bring that out at the same time as telling you what I was doing with the channel. So this is my first video back, and I'm only going to do a few at a time here. I am good enough that I can actually record content again, but I'm only going to do a few at a time for now until I am in tip-top shape again. Once I'm back to being in tip-top shape, I'm going to try and get a good continuation of content going so that the next interruption can hopefully not exist. We're now at the top level, the P4 level for the Class 4, 5, 6. This is the most power I can apply on this train. And now we're really starting to gain speed. I had to throw that down because the downhill is starting to affect me. But we're going to start braking now anyway, so that's just fine. We're 3/10 of a mile out from the station. I want to see what kind of braking power we have. Going down at a little bit of a slow pace here, but that's fine. I don't need to go down too quickly. So I'm going to hold on my 30 for a moment here. You can see Peckham coming up after Denmark Hill. That's going to be your following stop after this one. So we're going to go ahead and put a step 2 brake on now to slow down a little quicker here. We are arriving roughly on time, so we should be okay for this stop. I'm going to go ahead and release the brakes for a moment to come closer to the end of the platform, because I should be okay for this stop. I'm not sure where the car markers are on these platforms, if they even exist. I'm going to try and take a closer look at Peckham to see if there's a car marker, but I haven't really noticed any yet. So arrival at Denmark Hill, platform 2. Leaving Denmark Hill, our next stop is, as I already forecast, Peckham. We're going to be entering a 20-mile-per-hour speed limit before we actually get to Peckham. We're being warned about that right now as we speed up to our 45 limit. We're not going to get anywhere close to that because I'm going to bring the speed down in time. But knowing that we have to stop at 8:58 at Peckham, I do need to use a little bit of this additional speed. I'm going to try to do that. You saw that train coming for London Victoria. If you want to see where it was coming from, you can pause on YouTube. I didn't get an eye on, unfortunately. So I did make it up to 30. I'm not going to go any faster than that. I'm going to try to bring the speed down in time for the speed limit change. Right now I'm letting it coast, but this is going to be brought down by brake force at this point, because I am going to need it. That'll do nicely. So there's that 20 sign right there. We are within that limit. It's right on the marker as well. So that one is actually lined up nicely on the HUD. So some of these signs do line up nicely. We should be okay for our stop. I'm going to let my train come in a little bit before I put the brakes on. So one of the platforms is actually all the way over there. There you go. Just a quick peek out the window to look at that. There's one of the platforms. I'm noticing the view out the other window here as well. Train going by. Didn't have a chance to look at it, but we have arrived at Peckham Rye, platform number 2. Leaving Peckham Rye. Our next stop is Queen's Road, Peckham, platform 1. I don't know how common it is to see 3 trains stop like this at Peckham Rye, but man, this station is busy today. As we're heading into a 60-mile-per-hour speed limit heading towards Queen's Road, Peckham, we are going to have an opportunity to go at a good speed now. As soon as we get out of Peckham Rye, we just crossed the 60 sign now. We're going to fully enter it, and we're going to start speeding up. So we're going to move to P2, P3. I'm going to try not to give myself any chance to have premature wheel slip here, so I'm going to let a little speed go on, then I'll move up to P4. But it looks like I'm not going to get an opportunity to even go to P4 because Queen's Road is right there. So there's no point even trying to go to the 60 right now. We are still maintaining a perfect score, 112 per stop, 672 over 6 stops. I'm going to go ahead and let the power idle at this point. 9 o'clock and 25 seconds is our arrival time. As you may know from following enough scenarios on this channel, that means we have to stop by 9 o'clock and 59 seconds at the latest. It doesn't change. It's exactly the same. Why the 25 is there, I have no idea. I was appreciating the stop times until this moment. So we're going to have to screech this one in. You can see another stop coming up, South something. It's the one before London Road. South Bermondsey, I want to say that is. We'll look at it momentarily. Let's go ahead and slam those brakes. I need to get this train stopped. I need to get those doors opened, or we're going to have a problem. So arrival at Queen's Road, Peckham, platform number 1. Leaving Queen's Road, Peckham. Our next stop is South Bermondsey. Let's look at the remaining 2 stops, or 3 stops, I believe it is. I'm showing 2 stops. So we have South Bermondsey at 9:03, and we have London Bridge itself at 9:09. Those are our remaining stops today. Quick peek at the map to show you where we've traveled to. We're over here now. We are now heading up the London Bridge section, as you can see. So we have fully transversed over to the path between Brighton and, well, actually, no, we haven't really done so. We have a little bit further to go. The path from Brighton is actually this one. We're still on the inner circle right now as we head towards South Bermondsey, but they will merge into London Bridge area right there. Once again, you can see a little bit of lag being experienced on the route. Partly because I have a far distance turn on. I want to give you the better view, which means, unfortunately, sacrificing a little bit on the gameplay. It's either I sacrifice the gameplay or the view. So I could go up to 60 in that stretch, but I had no chance to reach it. Pretty much no chance. Maybe in the next stretch. So we're going to put a step 2 brake on and see how that works. I'm going to let it off a little bit now. We should still be within our minute for stopping here. This is good. Once again, I'm going to move as far into the platform as I can without passing it. So I'm going to put some more brakes on now. Step 2 now at this time should do the job nicely. Back to step 1 for the easy stop for the passengers, and arrival at South Bermondsey, 1 stop to go. Leaving South Bermondsey, our next and final stop is London Bridge in about 5 minutes from now. Now, I was not actually trying to do this, but I'm just going to go ahead and pop over to the map for just a moment and show you what we saw on that screenshot a moment ago. See these 2 trains right here? We just saw them on the screenshot, both of them, as they were coming in. There's more trains up that we're going to be seeing as we go as well, so it's really, really busy up here. The one thing that DTG has done is tried to show the line being very busy, and they have made an effort to do that, which is really, really good, because in reality, this route is even busier than what you're seeing here. I don't know if it can be shown as busy. I don't know if they would be able to make it as busy as they would need to accurately reflect it without potentially breaking the game. And some people have made scenarios that have so many trains on them that they do pretty much risk breaking the game. So there is a 20 mile per hour speed restriction coming up. We're 1.2 miles from London Bridge. There's a train over there, SNLB3. And there is our terminus, London Bridge, up ahead. I think we have lots of time for this stop, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of hold the throttle where we are, because we're going to have to brake anyway. Something tells me we're going to have to a yellow signal coming up and a red signal as something clears. But given that's a terminus, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that. We're being warned of the 20, by the way, and we are now getting a signal warning as well. So, looks like my guess on there being a red signal up ahead is probably correct. This is a double yellow signal. The 20 starts at where the red signal is currently located. So, we're going to go ahead and just hold at 28 for the time being. Another train over there, SELB04 and SELB03 behind it. Being warned of what I'm presuming is a single yellow, unless that's upgraded, I can't tell yet. That is a single yellow. I'm braking a little bit before it to see if it upgrades. It is not upgrading. We are under a single yellow aspect. So the next signal is a red. I'm just going to cruise at 14 miles per hour for right now. We are not going to have a lot of time to cruise, though. We are going to have to come to a stop at this signal. So I'm going to go ahead and slow down a little bit further. Trying to maintain. That train is leaving. That might be who we're waiting for right there. The London Bridge to West Croydon. No, that line is now... Oh, yep, that is now... The signals are doing weird things, but we do now have a yellow signal. We are now at a 20 mile per hour speed limit entering platform number 16. Another train over there. Look at that. Another one coming up ahead of us as well. Very, very busy in here. I appreciate this. Though it might be causing some of the lag I'm experiencing, I do appreciate how busy the station is. And we are definitely going to have time for this stop, so we don't actually have to rush into here at all. In fact, just in case there's any kind of emergency brake panel, like that one right there, I'm going to stop where I was and come in at 10 miles per hour just to be safe. We have a whole minute to make this stop anyway, so we can afford the time. Now, something to keep in mind is this is the old layout of London Bridge. The current layout has not yet been replicated in the Train Simulator Classic. I know it's one of the things that I've personally requested. Whether we're ever going to get it, I don't know. They came close to doing it when they went to Blackfriars, but they didn't take the route through London Bridge, so they didn't actually have a chance to redo London Bridge yet, because they didn't take that route. Maybe someday they will. And that'll do nicely for me. So I'll open the doors right here at London Bridge Platform 16. Let's look at the train. So that was a quick look at the inner circle. The next scenario, I believe, is an outer circle tour, which means we're probably going to get to see some stations we're very familiar with, or we're just going to go to Crystal Palace, one or the other. I'm not sure. But we are going to get to see different stations next time. So we're going to get to see as many different routes as we can cram into these scenarios, I guess is the best way to put it. I don't know how accurate these services are to the actual real-life scenario map, but nonetheless, the routes do exist. Trains do travel on all the routes. Just a matter of how accurate scenario timetables are, which we don't know. So there is some possible fiction in the timetables in these scenarios. Very, very possible. But that's the first one done, and we've gotten to see all the stations along the inner circle. So Peckham, Queen's Road. Obviously, we got to see Battersea anytime we go near Victoria, so we are getting to see all these stations. Battersea also has changed since 2015 as well. You have reached London Bridge on time and have successfully completed this scenario. Thank you very much. Just look at the scoring screen, and we'll be done. And another train is apparently leaving right now, right next to us. Probably that one to our left. I'm just guessing. But it doesn't seem to be moving, so maybe not. Oh well, who cares? So there's no achievement for score in this DLC, apparently. Who cares? Maybe other scenarios do, this one doesn't. That's possible. So let's go ahead and get ourselves set up for the next scenario next time. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. You're going to see more of South London Network. This is only the first one. And I got six to go, plus a whole bunch of DLC we're going to be exploring eventually as well, including that 419, which we'll probably never see again. The 455-8, I have to look at that at some point. So we do have things we're going to be looking at here. Of course, the 375 as well, which we are very, very intimately familiar with from the Class 377. It's pretty much the same train. Minor differences at best for the Chatham Main Line. So in any case, I'll see you next time for that next scenario. I'm Cyclone. And that next video will be starting momentarily. In the meantime, have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. If you're on my playlist, that video will start in 3, 2, 1.